Hey guys, welcome to Blame It on the Draw. Today I'm going to be giving you a Dark Magician deck profile. Let's start with the monsters here. So we got 3 copies of the Dark Magician. Now he's the one you're usually going to be bringing out, and you can do a lot with him with the new support that has been coming. Next up we have 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician. Now this card's really good. I'm sorry I have a proxy here, but what it does is you can special summon her by discarding a card, and then you can add 1 Dark Magician to your hand, and it also allows you to boost up the Dark Magician's or any Dark Spellcaster's attack by 2000. Next up we have one of the most important cards in the deck, the Magician's Rod. This card allows you to look up any spell or trap that specifically lists the Dark Magician, and it can recycle itself from the grave by tributing a monster you control if you activate a spell or trap during your opponent's turn. Next up we have 2 of the Magician of Dark Illusion. This card is also pretty good. It can special summon itself from the hand if you activate a spell or trap in your opponent's turn, and it also, when you activate a spell card, can revive the Dark Magician in your grave. And finally, for the monsters, we have a 1-of the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which enables the whole mini prophecy engine we have going on. And now for the spells, we have 2 of the Dark Magical Circle. This card allows you to look up the top 3 cards of your deck, and if one of the cards specifically lists the Dark Magician, or if it's a Dark Magician, you can add it to your hand. And also, when you summon a normal summon or special summon a Dark Magician, you can banish a card your opponent controls. It does target though, so that's a little bit restricting. Now for the spellbook engine, we have 2 secrets, which allows you to look up any spellbook card, and 2 spellbook of knowledge, which by sending a spellcaster you control or a spellbook card in your hand, you can draw 2 cards, which is pretty good, because this deck has a lot of spells and traps and few monsters. Next up we have the Secret Village of the Spellcasters, which allows you to basically tell your opponent you're not playing spell cards if you have a spellcaster type. Next up is 2 Pot of Duality. It's a pretty standard card. Only the downside is that you're not special summoning, but it's not actually that big of a deal since you can also special summon in your opponent's turn. Next up we got 2 Eye of Timaeus. This card is really good. It allows you to get your Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, which is a very good card. The only problem I have with it is that it cannot be searched by any of the cards that search Dark Magician, only because it says Dark Magician Monster, and that adage of the monster part really screwed up the card for the searching. And these are the 1-ofs. We got Illusion Magic, which allows you to tribute a spellcaster monster, and then you can add 2 copies of Dark Magician from your deck or your grave. So next up we got Dark Magic Attack, which is it's like Harpy's Feather Duster. If you have a Dark Magician on the board, it destroys all your opponent's spell and traps. Magical Dimension, which allows you to tribute 1 spellcaster you control, and then you special summon another spellcaster from your hand, and if you do, you can destroy an opponent's monster and it doesn't target. We also have the Magician's Left Hand, which allows you to negate any spell or well, not spell, which allows you to negate any trap card that's activated if you control a spellcaster, but just the first one, and it can be either a trap card or an effect of a trap card. Also works with counter traps if they are the first to activate. Next we have our Dark Hole. This one nukes the entire field. For the traps we have 3. Magician's Navigation. Now this one's a really good card because it special summons a Dark Magician from your hand, and then it special summons a Dark Magician from your deck. Can be warning though, and it cannot be striked, so it's pretty good. Also, on the turn that it was not sent to the grave, you can banish the card while you control a Dark Magician and negate the effects of one spell or trap that your opponent controls, which is pretty good. Next up we have one of the best cards in the deck in my opinion, and that is Eternal Soul. You run 2 of those, and what it does is it makes every Dark Magician you control unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and you can special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, or add 1 Dark Magical attack or Thousand Knights from your deck to your hand. Only drawback is that when it's destroyed, it sends all your monsters you control to the graveyard. Next up we have 2 Torrential Tributes. We also have 2 of Solemn Strikes, 1 Warning, and a Mirror Force. Now these cards are mostly for disruption purposes. If your opponent makes a big board, you can just Torrential Tribute it. If he attacks you, you use Mirror Force. These are really good because it's really hard to negate a counter trap. And next up we have the extra deck. We have 2 of the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Now this card is really good. While it's on the field, it counts as Dark Magician, and your opponent cannot target spell and traps you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed also. So this one protects your Eternal Soul, and Eternal Soul protects him, and it kind of creates a little bit of a lockdown. And I run 1 of the Dark Paladin, which is also a good choice for an alternative to the Dragon Knight. And what it does is that you can discard a card when your opponent activates a spell card, and by you discarding it, you can negate it. And it also gains attack for each dragon monster on the field and in the graveyard. So if you're playing a dragon player, you can bust that out and out attack your opponent, probably. The next card is 3 of Ebon Illusion Magician. Now this one is one you're going to go into a lot, because when you summon him, you can detach and special summon a Dark Magician from your deck or from your hand, and when a normal monster declares an attack and it's a spellcaster, you can banish 1 of your opponent's cards. It does target though. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. This one is mostly just a troll because it cannot be destroyed, and every time your opponent activates a card effect, he takes 500 burn damage. We also have Big Eye to take control of an opponent's monster. Ebon High Magician, which allows you to activate quick play spell cards or trap cards while they're in your hand if you detach, and also if it's destroyed by your opponent's card effects, you can special summon 1 Dark Spellcaster from your hand or deck and destroy a card on the field. And you also have an Orito, which is pretty good because it can negate spell and traps your opponent activates. And also, if you go into Naruto, you can go for Ebon Illusion Magician, since he can also be used with a rank 6 spellcaster XYZ monster as an XYZ material. Now for the links, we have Summon Sorceress, which is not bad to bring out your Dark Magicians or any other spellcaster you might need. Decode Talker protects you from being targeted, so that's pretty nice. Akashic Magician, it's a spellcaster, link 2, has an arrow pointing down, so it's pretty good. And you'll be surprised at the times you can use her effect to bounce an opponent's monster if they're careless, and that has saved me from a couple of duels. We have Wee Witch, which I prefer to Akashic because she gives my monsters a good attack boost, since they're all dark except for the Prophecy Boy, and it also allows you to add one when it's destroyed. And Proxy Dragon, which you don't really go that much into him, but you can use him to protect your cards that will be destroyed by destroying one of the monster's discard points too instead. Well, there you go. Yeah, there you have it. That's the deck. Hope you guys liked it. Leave a like, share, and subscribe. Make that like button. And as always, this has been Blame It on the Draw.